Welcome, everyone. I am Pragya Sinha Chaudhary, VP of Products at DASA, and I'm very excited about this webinar today. Platform engineering is such an important topic that is increasingly taking more and more space in the IT world, and we are here today to talk about it. And to talk about this, today I have with me Leonardo Murillo, Govardhan Kanya, and Rick Fahrenhorst. Leonardo is the CEO at Cloud Native Architects. He's passionate about platform engineering, cloud native solutions, DevOps, and AI. He has 25 plus years of experience in the technology industry and has worn many hats in these years. He blends technical prowess, strategic vision, and executive leadership, thereby empowering teams to surmount challenges and transform ideas into reality. Govardhan is the founder of NewView, an IT consultancy enabling organizations elevate their value through DevSecOps, analytics, cloud, SRE, and platform engineering, of course. He has 15 plus years of experience doing this and is passionate about guiding organizations through their digital journeys, optimizing operations, and achieving tangible results. And I need not say anything about Rick. He's the force behind DASA. His passion to enable organizations become high performance digital organizations shows in everything he does and in his guidance in shaping the DASA portfolio. You all will hear from them today and know more about our latest offering on platform engineering. So I will now move on to some housekeeping items. After this webinar, the recordings will be made available to everyone who's registered for the webinar. During the webinar, please use the comment section to ask questions during the session. We will answer all your questions after we have heard the speakers. And if you have any additional questions, any queries, any doubts, you can send us an email on the email ID shown on the screen. I will now hand it over to Rick to talk a little bit about why, as DASA, we decided to create a product suite on platform engineering. To you,
Yes,
Rick.
yes. Thanks, Pragya, for the nice intro. Equally excited here for this event because it's a great product suite we have to announce to you all. But let me give you some background and some context for this product suite. As most of you might know, our mission as DASA is that we, as industry body, position ourselves to be a go-to partner for enterprises who'd like to transform into what we call a high-performance digital organization. And to do so, we invest a lot in talent, guidance solutions, a body of knowledge that we basically expand on a daily basis, and investing also in a powerful global community that can facilitate organizations in that journey. And there are various reasons why you would embark on such a journey, but um, we're very happy to see that this ecosystem is basically increasing every day. And that's also depicted on the next slide, indeed. We have lots of large corporates, but also startups, members, partner organizations. Some names probably are familiar to you who already have adopted the DASA products or are active contributors in our ecosystem. I'm proud to also share that we have several ambassadors being active, a huge community with active subject matter experts and leaders worldwide. And we're also building through events like this one, but also through events such as last week when we had our yearly DASA Connect, an increasing amount of body of knowledge captured in keynotes, workshops, panel discussions, etc. And those are very worthwhile to rewatch or to look into when you are interested in these kind of subjects that all build on, let's say, DevOps and Agile skills. On the next slide, I'd like to give you some context on how our portfolio has been shaping up. Because becoming a high performance digital organization, an HPDO, is something that involves quite a lot of ingredients. You typically want to invest in increasing your automation, helping your teams to accelerate, adopting agile and DevOps and lean principles, for example, but also the culture in your organization, the leadership style, the target operating model, the way you measure value are all elements that you would typically come across if you want to start such a journey. And it doesn't really matter for DASA from our perspective where in this journey you are. We know that most, if not all, organizations are exploring ways to become a more digital native, more resilient, more responsive enterprise, leveraging the power of digital technology. Some are really at the beginning, and so they know there's a sense of urgency in this volatile, uncertain world to invest in this. Others are well underway. In both situations, we have a lot to show for and a lot to help them in their journey. So throughout the transformation journey, our products try to build positive touch points, interventions that you can leverage to help yourself and your colleagues to benefit from this. And on the next slide, we also list typical capabilities, typical themes that you would come across that you would put as part of your transformation journey. High performance digital organization definitely involves a lot of automation, infrastructure, technology, but also a lot of soft elements. It's all about people in the end. And the way you transform your organization will hugely benefit also the way you can leverage the technology and the automation part. So these six themes are underpinning everything we do at DASA, and we believe that together they cover all most important capabilities that an enterprise need to invest in. Today, of course, we zoom in on the number 6 here because the platform engineering topic is all about modernizing your IT operations and infrastructure stack. And on the next slide, we have another visualization of our portfolio. I will not go at length at all the products that we have currently available or are in development. It's more important to put emphasis on how our portfolio has been shaping up and what the vision behind the portfolio actually is. So first and foremost, we built the products together with subject matter experts like Govardhan and Leonardo, who are with us in this call, because then we ensure that the good practices, the principles, the concepts are not just from, let's say, theory and the books, but also from first-hand experience by thought leaders and subject matter experts. We, as I said, cover the transformation phases that I shown on the previous slide. So throughout the whole journey, you can benefit from our products, but we also cover with our products all the transformation themes. And you see here in this circle diagram that we have quite a lot to offer to you, depending on what you're most interested in or what your transformation journey now would need most. Together, our products are aimed to be as MICE as possible. That stands for mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. And we design our product suites in such a way that, regardless of maturity or the specific context of your organization, you can benefit either from talent programs or such as a certification program or one of the guidance products that we have developed, like workshops, assessments, guidance papers, etc. And today we'll focus on, as if you click one more time, we see that we zoom in on a specific part of the portfolio today, which entails the platform engineering product suite, which is both a certification program and a value box. We'll come to that later on. On the next slide, I'd like to bring you a little bit on a trip down memory lane because you might think with all the buzz going around in platform engineering that this is a super new topic. While I'm very enthusiastic about all the innovations and all the traction that is happening, it is not a very new topic. To be also frank with you, in 2016, when we started with DASA in our first white paper, in our first DevOps fundamentals program, we already referred to platform engineering as an important capability to look into basically. And because you can of course focus a lot, and that's what we also did in the beginning of the DASA years, a lot on the software product teams to help them become multidisciplinary, as autonomous as possible, as entrepreneurial as possible, guide them and help them to adopt the agile DevOps principles and practices. But if you want to ensure that they can spend as much time as they have on actual value generation, helping their customers and stakeholders with valuable software products, you would like to provide them some easy self-service solutions on the IT infrastructure level. So what this diagram also shows is that not just an agile transformation or DevOps transformation would be needed in an organization. You would also think about something what is here listed as cloud operations teams or an IT as a service kind of stack. And this was, of course, something that some organizations 8 years ago already started doing, and many others have followed suit since then. And it's great to see also how this field has matured over the years. That's what has been depicted on the next slide. We see, without showing too much detail, some important events that happened over the past decade, I would say. Yeah? You know all that the DevOps movement is with us for almost 20 years already, 15 years plus. That culture, those principles helped organizations to focus on CI/CD and related concepts. The role of cloud computing and shifting more to from capital expenditure to operational expenditure was something that boosted also infrastructure engineering, infrastructure as code, and the whole concept of platform engineering. And as technology progressed, you saw some leading vendors and also stacks emerge, and also the concept of treating your platform as a product, ensuring that you can provide it as a service to as many of your other internal teams, as internal customers, basically, of your platform as possible. Trying to treat it just as you would with any other software product helped advance the state of the practice, I would say. If you now look at recent uh, white papers and articles from analysts like Gartner, you see that they predict that in a few years from now, this will be a huge thing for many organizations, and a lot of traction is still to be expected. So this is actually quite a great time to be in this webinar with us and start exploring what kind of value you can get out of this. And you, of course, are not the first, but we can stand on the shoulder of giants, as the next slide shows. Because there have been quite a few well-known firms who have invested in what we now call platform engineering. Google and Spotify, for example, they achieved greater operational efficiency. Netflix and Google improved their scalability by investing in platform engineering capabilities. System reliability was something that also Netflix was very looking into it, as well as Spotify. And also the developer productivity was specifically something that Airbnb was focusing on, and also to improve the innovation cycle. And it's not that they helped advance and pioneering the field of platform engineering, they also, as a result, have given back to the community the things that they have developed along their journeys. For example, Google developed Kubernetes, which is well known now in the field. Netflix introduced chaos engineering and Spinnaker. Airbnb created Backstage, and Spotify developed Apache Airflow, to just mention a few leading tools and platforms that are now very popular in many organizations. On the next slide, if you look from a more business perspective, maybe you are not that much into the technical details. This is a slide that would resonate more for you, because it's quite easy to come up with, let's say, 10 good reasons to invest in platform engineering. I will not read them all aloud. You can have a look here. But it's, of course, very important to see that not just the efficiency, productivity, and reliability of your software processes and development is increasing. It's also cost-wise a very interesting thing to consider. Innovation-wise, platform engineering can help you to spend more of your time on new stuff and innovations, instead of dealing with all the complex infrastructure stuff, because that is what the platform takes away from the developers. Some people call it, instead of shifting left, which is a popular DevOps phrase, it's something that we should focus instead of shifting down, meaning that you give as much of the complexity to the underlying platform, so it is handled there, so the teams get a lot of leeway and freedom to focus on other stuff instead. And that is a very powerful concept, and would also increase their developer satisfaction, I would say. And that's of course something to take into account, not just for building awesome software, but also for retention purposes in this war on talent we live in. So plenty of reasons to invest. One more slide to, if you're still not convinced, some are on the next slide. We see a few reasons why you would like to invest in platform engineering. Quite some significant improvements to be expected from a velocity point of view, reliability point of view, but also the standardization of your workflows can benefit greatly. And that, of course, also relates a lot to cost savings, which is something in this era many enterprise leaders would be interested in to realize. Because we all run on IT, but as a result, IT budgets are, of course, increasingly large. And cutting that in half almost by smartly investing in platform engineering is something to consider. On the next slide, I want to emphasize, though, that although it might seem easy at first glance, it is not necessarily easy to do platform engineering right. If I look back over the past 8, 10 years, I've been involved in many organizations and was allowed to lead platform engineering teams myself. On the left side, you see here depicted a conceptual example of how such a platform team could operate and how it would help all the other teams. And while this makes a lot of sense and seems trivial, it apparently is not that easy. I do see, if I talk to enterprise leaders, that many organizations have invested quite a bit over the past decade in modern IT infrastructure, but a comprehensive platform strategy is something that was often lacking. And that is important to take into the debates in your organization, I would say. At the same time, the technology and field has tremendously advanced itself. So the maturation of the various tools and products that are available will help organizations who are now investing in platform engineering much more than the pioneers faced a decade ago. So this is something that's very nice. But we also learned that, like with many things, it is not as easy as simply focusing on the IT solution itself. Although you can accelerate things and automate things a lot, um, doing this well, investing in platform engineering does impact your way of working, your organization, and also your culture. So it does require strong leadership, vision, and a proper approach. And because this is often a little bit forgotten or underestimated, many initiatives around platform engineering do fail or get stalled. And therefore, we argue from DASA perspective, there's a huge need to have a more comprehensive suite of talent and guidance products that can help the average enterprise to advance the state of the nation and the state of the practice, basically, and actually start getting all the benefits I was just talking about a second ago. On the next slide, we see a summary of key challenges that we have found, have identified by also doing a lot of interviews in the field. We interviewed lots of industry experts because we knew we were going to build a nice product suite on platform engineering, but we wanted to be as state of the art as possible, but also as best reflecting the key challenges and how to overcome these challenges in a typical enterprise to maximize the value we can bring with our products. Here we have a summary of the key issues that were mentioned in the various conversations. We see many organizations struggle with how to determine the investment decisions that they have to make, how much investments to put in certain platform engineering capabilities, when, by whom, and how to maintain this, how to track also the various benefits you get after investing in this, the metrics, the value realization part, the organizational readiness, understanding well enough your current state, not just on an IT part, but also culturally and the teams and how things are working at the moment, technically and cultural, the readiness to assess this and to know how best to progress from there, governance, but also how to convince leaders, other stakeholders to be aligned sufficiently when you start doing this that you also maximize the chance that you can get benefit from it. A thing that was mentioned a lot was not treating the platform as a product. So a lot of initiatives emerge typically in organizations, but then if you forget the product mindset and the product thinking, you will get a very complex landscape, which is hard to maintain, and then you're further from the goal than when you started. And last but not least, underestimating the developer experience angle, because the whole self-service part is aimed to make sure that developers actually benefit from the platforms that you provide to them, and that they get that this customer centricity angle is covered quite well. And this is not something that automatically happens by purchasing a tool, for example, or building a tailor-made platform. So all these key challenges have been input to our design of the product suite. So with great pleasure, on the next slide, I will then announce the product suite that we have created, which is made up of both talent development uh, uh, elements and also what we call transformation enablers. The talent development part is covered by a 2-day certification program, of which that will be introduced in a second by Govardhan. And as you can see here already summarized, that this 2-day certification program tries to capture quite a lot of important elements that you need to understand when you want to invest properly in platform engineering. It's about aligning it with business goals. It's about making sure that there's flow and also technology-wise good alignment between everything in your organization. The whole product mindset towards platform engineering is important, the culture and leadership part, and also how to gain traction, how to make sure that there's stakeholder buy-in. So while some people I talked to over the past weeks would have expected a lot more treatment of technical details, we do have that covered. We do discuss leading solutions from a technology perspective. These elements are actually equally important to build your platform engineering capability. And in a similar vein, we have also a value box that will be discussed at length by Leonardo later on. We have a number of key guidance products that we capture here that help organizations to not only master platform engineering, but also adapt it as best as possible in their organizational context. Not just from a technology perspective, but also from a leadership and organization-wide perspective. And together, those talent development and transformation enablers, we believe, help prepare, but also de-risk and optimize the platform engineering initiatives in your organization. So this is really awesome, and I am quite convinced that it will lead to quite a lot of actual value in your daily life. And with that said, there's one more slide to go before I give the mic to Govardhan. This is a summary of the beneficiaries, the key roles for which we designed the products. As you can see, the talent development side, the certification program is targeted at quite a large audience. Of course, platform engineers can benefit greatly from it, but also platform architects, but product owners from the other teams, product leaders, managers in general in the company. If they understand the value and the design behind platform engineering capabilities, there's a much larger chance that they will leverage it. The transformation enablers are more positioned towards the consultants who help platform engineering capabilities to be built and to be expanded in the organization, and also the transformation leaders and the platform architects who think of how can we best position this and how let the organization benefit from it as much as possible. So with this introduction, I think it's now time to zoom in more into the various products that we have developed. And with great honor, I'll give the floor to the first subject matter expert who worked with us on the product. Govardhan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rick. It was a fantastic explanation. Good evening, everyone. Good morning, everyone, wherever you are. I hope you are doing well. We are really excited to deep dive into this program, and I'm equally cherish this moment. And I see this product as one of its kind based on my experience dealing with platform engineering in the last 10 years. Uh, Having said that, let's deep dive into what this certification program is about and crucial aspects of it in the next stage. Right. We start with the basic and the really crucial question: why we need to take this program. Right. As we already established, the platform engineering is not a newbie. It has been around more than a decade, but the traction is pretty less so far, at least till for the last couple of years, because of unique challenges it brings in. We see only the success stories which comes from Netflix, Spotify, etc. But there is a lot of resources, a lot of stale projects, and a lot of failure stories around platform engineering because of lack of what are the best practices around platform engineering, what are the frameworks we need to adapt, and how actually it should align with the business goals, how to prepare an organization in the culture and mindset point of view. These were actually the blind spots many organization has missed to uh, cater before entering into the platform engineering. Of course, it comes with learnings from usual organizations, learning from the community, and get best at what we do. Right? I believe we are at a junction where we got ample studies, ample experience, and talking with multiple organizations and echoing the importance of it. And this program is an amalgamation of all the all the details what an organization need so that they can create platform engineering champions within your organization. So that's the crucial crux of it. And another point we need to look into it before jumping is the business objectives. What we used to have a decade ago and right now is completely different. The time to market, agility in the product development, developer experience, the efficiency of operations. It's way fast tracked, I can say. So you can't escape, or any organization can't escape the adoption of platform engineering. So it is better to understand from 360 degrees point of view, so that the team can able to perform better, and I wish we don't see any more failure platform engineering adoptions. Having said that, that's the crux of the certification program. So first we start with how to prepare the stakeholders. Because it's not just development team, platform engineers who actually deal with it, right from leadership to multiple parties involved in it. So we need to prepare the stakeholders. We need to actually articulate why this has been necessary. Why can't we miss the platform engineering with proper knowledge, skill set, and communication tools, so that they can able to become a champion we aspire to. That's the first starting point we actually deal with in this program, like enabling each stakeholder about the value we can generate from the platform engineering. Then whatever we do as a platform engineering team, it shouldn't be a silo operation, because it leads to variance between the business goals. So this program actually in fact helps the tutors, or helps the organizations to understand how actually you can prepare yourself or prepare your platform engineering team from day zero to have the ability to match the business goals, because each organization has its own goals. Like we don't have a single fitting size for all the organizations. So platform engineering team should be, with this certification program, can able to tackle business goals comes from different aspects of it, and they can fine tune themselves to map to the organization goals. That's a really great thing to start with. And then we should bring the mindset of treating platform as a product, right from how you actually gather the requirements for the developers, how you actually create a product app, how you reiterate it based on the following feedback and the feedback loops from the developer. But why actually this been missing a so far is, here the customer is internal, because the platforms are meant for developers who actually leverage that. And as Rick was rightly pointing out, we are actually shift down mentality has to be built. But as the customers or developers, it has been, I can say, not treated with the great importance. I think we need to have that mind shift. You should treat platform as another project, another product. If you're going to deliver to a client, how actually you cater it, you need to treat platform as well like that kind of a product. So you bring in customer centricity, you bring in the right experience so that the developers can cherish too, right? This program will help you to identify a framework which will help to quickly gather the data points to actually leverage the data developer experience. Also, it bringing the cultural and mind shift abilities, so that psychological and emotionally you can look into that point with this program while designing a platform. That's another great takeaway from this program. The next point is how actually this leads to the reliability, scalability, and efficient system. We'll deep dive when we talk about the technicals, but this is more about how a platform tie to a technicality, because it's not just technicality, right? If a system is reliable, it is connected to the trust of the customer. If a system is scalable, it actually connects to the speed an organization can move into. If a system is really efficient, it means a lot of cost saving has been done by the organizations. So again, it's not a technical connection between platform and the IAC, CI/CD, whatever, but it is in turn contributing to the trust, cost, and also the going forward path for an organization. That's why it's really crucial to understand this aspect of it. Finally, we will think beyond setting up the platform. That's what we call it as thinking beyond the build, because build is the, I can say, the baseline stage where we build up a platform, but there should be a reiteration of a continuous improvement framework, right? Which comes with monitoring, which comes with fine tuning the existing system. Also, how you scale beyond the initial point, right? You should be prepared from the day zero. I can say it's not about you build it and you think about it later. So we bring in that kind of and best practices and how actually you can integrate that feedback loops into your system with this training program. And I'll take much detailed objectives in the next slide as we move on, right? Yeah. Okay. As we established, why we need this program, let's deep dive into each point in more detail where we cover the objectives of this certification program. First, we start with articulating the importance and the requirements of platform engineering, because this understanding this understanding is the really key point, which will actually either enhance your journey or it can timid your journey. That's what we saw in the past decade. Lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, lack of seeing value in it, right? Once a platform engineering team or a champions can able to articulate this, they actually internally become champions, and they will actually buy in the resistance. They will actually convince the other parties who is subjective to say that where can they see the value, because right now with this program they have the knowledge of platform engineering in very right way. Also, they have the skills to buy in that decision. So from the step one, we are actually starting with what is the value it brings in. How can I understand this platform engineering? Right. Next, we connect that platform engineering relationship with DevOps. We see most of the organizations has moved to the DevOps, which is fantastic. But DevOps focuses more on software delivery. How efficiently I can take my application from development to the production, right? Platform engineering actually increases the efficiency and increases the comfort levels for a developer, which in turn contributes to the DevOps efficiency. So you can't look these two as the silos. There is a great integration between these two. In fact, with platform engineering, the DevOps team can create reusable modules. They can create better experience of creating environments. They can create templates which can be used across all the applications environment organization wide, which means it contributes to the scalability. So you can't see DevOps and platform as two different entities. We see that they are actually not competitors, but they are actually contributors to the organization for an efficient and smooth run. We actually establish the relationship between these two, so that mindset wise we derive this contribution as the next step. Next, we actually bring in how technically any challenge or any goal an organization may have can be linked with a platform engineering strategy. Because some organizations' goal would be time to market. Some organizations, for example, like banks, would be stability, right? The reliability. The startups, it's cost saving, right? Based on the environment an organization operates or the market they operates, their goals are different. Likewise, the platform engineering goal should align to the business goals as well, right? We will teach a framework in this program so that they can actually adopt this platform engineering adoption, because we know the business environment may change, right? The business goals may also change after a year or in a quarter. The platform engineering need not reinvent every time, right? So as they understand to tackle different adoption rates across different goals, I think that's the best chance we give for success. We actually in this program we teach that with a framework. Next, we actually help the programmers to understand culturally how they should change. Like earlier, they used to work with system admins or DevOps to get an environment. Now it becomes totally different. They need to be self-reliable, and self-service portal should be coming into place. Right? It's a kind of a mind shift, and also it is a cultural change. There is a cultural shock which may actually create because of these discrepancies if we don't create an boundaries of what this platform does, right? So we actually help with the kind of a material. We can actually bring in the actual value of unlocking this with the right mindset, so that the acceleration shift would be really faster, because any organization fights with two things. One is change management, another is cultural shift. This is completely non-technical, but actually it can break or make a system. So that's why it's really crucial to imbibe in this. Next, we already talk about treating platform as a product. Maybe I'll touch base in a high level that, or repeat the point again, that you should treat internal customers as your external customers. Then the seriousness of taking or treating the platform as a product will become your lifeline. So this is really crucial to understand, so that any feedback that is coming from a developer, any continuous improvement suggestions coming from the colleagues, right, from the development team, should be treated as an external customer feedback and try to imbibe that. That's where the success of this journey is. Next, building the strategy for right developer experience. It is more or less tied up to the treating platform as a product. But if we build 100 features, but it is not intuitive, it is not simple, and it is not self-explanatory, I think we may lose this game, right? So that's why it is really important to involve the developers, or involve the users who is going to use this platform at day one, and gather the requirements very granular level, and iterate it in the like we do in the form of an agile. We'll have MVPs at right stages and gather the feedback and fine tune it. So the focus should be not more on technical for developer point of view, because technicality comes to how we implement it, but adoption comes for developer experience. So the strategy should be how to build the right developer experience. We should say delighted developer experience rather. Yeah. Then next 3 points would be more of technical, right? Because even though we say that we build a platform, at the end of it, we should have the bolts and nuts to connect, so that someone picks up a choice in the self-service portal. It should be able to deliver an environment. It should be able to deliver like I say, an IAC code base, right? So that's why this platform engineering closely connects with three elements technical. One is infrastructure as code, which actually deals with how you actually provision an environment. Next one is CI/CD, which actually deals with how you deliver an application to your production once the environment is ready. And finally, we have containerization, right? If you want to build portable applications that can be taken across different environments and different organizations, even to the public for some cases like public related organizations, you need to have a containerization concept, right? So these three are technical challenges, and we actually in this program uh, tells about what are the limitations and what are the prerequisites. How should an organization should prepare the adoption of those technicalities, because we see a mixed bunch of it, right? Some organizations may have IAC, CACD, but not containerization. Some have all the three in place. Some have none of these in place. None of these in place is very rare until unless it is in a legacy application like mainframe. But we see a mix and match, right? We have sketched this program so that irrespective of how the technical situation is in an organization, how actually you can adapt the platform engineering can be taught on this. And last 2 points is about thinking beyond the build. Like we built it and we have the iterations running and it is successful, right? It is successful for now, but to keep it running forever, I can say at least for the next 5 or 10 years, you should constantly monitor it. You should constantly check the health part of it, and you should be able to acknowledge and respond any incidences when arise. So bringing the best practices around how to keep the show running, we will bring that aspects in this by teaching the best practices, and also by teaching the integrations of these tools along with your incident management system, because every organization comes with their own incident management systems like ServiceNow, BMC, Remedy, right? It's more about how you adapt to it, and also what are the best practices you should consider, right? Finally, we will also, on the mindset part, also the progressive thinking, strategist thinking after setting up the initial build, how an organization should prepare. We will deal with that, right? In the next slide, we will actually take through, different aspects of the modules we have in this training program. I don't take much time in this, but as a high level, we split this into 360 degrees an organization can tackle. One is understanding the concept, which is the basic of it, and then relationship between the existing technology, which is DevOps, to the platform engineering, and then comes the people and cultural part, like how you manage the stakeholders, how you get the buy-in for this program by unlocking the value, and how you accelerate your culture and mind shift, in correlation with DevOps, and then comes with experience of delivery, which is like treating platform as a product and building developer experience. Finally, the technical aspects we dealt with, which is an integration with IoT, CI/CD, and containerization. That's where the modules flow, right? Rightly, from inception. And finally, we think about after build, after integration, how we monitor the existing platform, and what would be the future plan we need to look into. What is the strategy to go beyond design and development? That's how this modules are spread. And in quick short, module 1 and module 2 is about the interaction and relationship. Module 3 to module 4 would be about dealing with people and mindset. Module 5 and 6 is about developing the experience. 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9 is about integration with technical pieces. Final 2 will be around, thinking beyond the build. Yeah. Having said that, I'll move to the next slide, which is about how actually this has been packaged so that it can reach other organizations, right? Basically, we have two kind of options. One is a facilitated classroom program, another is virtual classroom program, and it is planned to spread across 2 days. And the certification program after this training is basically a comprehensive level at 80 minutes duration with 40 questions. The criteria for taker, which is a learner, would be 65%. But there are cases, or definitely we need the trainers to take this to the world, right? Criteria for them to be 75% because they're supposed to be masters in that. Yeah. Having said that, I'll move to the next slide. Yep. Okay. Uh, as we touch based on the instructors who is going to take this program to the organization, what kind of flexibility we provide, right? Basically, we think of three. One is you can mix and match the formats of the program, like we established. It can be a classroom program, virtual classroom program, both kinds. Classroom program brings its own benefits, like you can directly touch base with the learners and have the face-to-face interaction, so that organization can able to judge the authenticity. Rather authenticity, we can just say that we can have a personal connect in it. But virtual program will bring in other advantages like logistic issues. I need not travel to the other continent to look for it, because I can take it from my own place or my own organization, right? So these two are the flavors we provide. And the next one is, as we already thought about, breaking this into as many smaller sections as possible, but still they are connected together, so that the tutor has the flexibility to take individual pieces and also take individual sections, so that within a module you can able to mix and match, or within a module you have the flexibility to deal with based on schedules, because we see there may be surprises in schedules. So this will help them to prepare better, right? Finally, also we suggest to incorporate or tailor your own content. For example, if tutor would like to bring in real life use cases along with the material we provide, I think really that is fantastic. If they want to bring in specific data points or the videos which they want to imbibe, I think that can also be done. So these three benefits are really fantastic in the instruction point of view. And next, I'll have a recap of what we have discussed so far, so that it will be really effective. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is the final segment, right? What has been expected after this program, right? After completing this program, as we established, whoever the learners are, they equipped with the knowledge, what is the platform engineering is about, and the skills to adapt and implement it, and the mindset to buy in the resistance, and finally they also have the strategy to look beyond the bed. Right, these four pillars we cover in it, so that I can say everyone can become a platform engineering champion after taking this, because it's not just about technicality we are talking about in any other program. We are bringing the 360-degree element of platform engineering, and and not only just establishing that, we are also talking about aligning this approach with the business goals and vision, so that business can able to see the value after implementation of platform engineering, because that's the basic challenge we hear in the last decade, right? No one able to articulate the value what platform engineering brings in, right? It just brings in another automation. It was seen as another automation, which is a myth, I can say. So we equip the champions to have the right knowledge to adapt to different kinds of business goals and visions, right? Then we actually appreciate the value of platform engineering, which is nothing but related to the top 2 points we already discussed. We actually tap the value of it actually contributes to the innovation, how it actually helps to give back those waiting hours to the developers so that they can focus on problem solving. Right? These are the value unlock we are talking about at a high level, right? The
Govardhan, sorry
learners,
sorry to interrupt, but we are a bit running out of time. So I think we should leave
yeah,
this
yeah,
here for now, so we can move over to
yes,
the very important value box and give the floor to Leonardo. But I think this is also a
hmm
great summary slide for everything that you just nicely explained. So if you
I
don't mind,
agree. Yeah,
move to the next slide, and I think that's the nice cue for Leonardo to join, right, and bring us up to speed on the
yeah.
value.
All
Thank
right,
you.
awesome. Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Vardhan. So I hope you folks now have a like solid understanding of where the certification comes from. But as we've discussed, right, certification gives you a lot of theory, gives you a lot of knowledge, but there's a lot of caveats to actually getting this deployed into an organization. So can we move to the next slide, please? In order for us to assist and help organizations actually get this deployed in the real world, DASA has developed what we call value boxes, and value boxes are guidance product, very actionable products that you can actually use to deploy this in the real world. And one thing that we've spoken is that like the theory is like like buying a book on parenting before having your first child, right? When you get to the kid, it's a whole lot messier and a whole lot noisier than you actually anticipated, right? And that's kind of like where the value box comes in, right? That this is some products that will guide you through the process of actually navigating a diverse, influx, dynamic environment so that you can apply what you learn in the certification program into the real world. Now, the value box is built around 5 products, and all those products have a different focus, whether it is de-risking, because all this changes always introduce some level of risk, right, to optimizing how you approach your platform engineering effort, to getting value. Okay, so I'm going to talk about them in detail. If we move to the next slide, I'm going to talk about the first product in the value box, which is a discovery toolkit. Okay, now as you've heard, platform engineering kind of like sits at this intersection of aligning many different interests in the organization and aligning many different initiatives in the organization. Some of them are technical, some of them are not. So where you start and how do you approach platform engineering needs to be from a point of understanding the various landscapes in which you will actually operate as you look to deploy these initiatives, right? So we're going to give you 2 tools. One is a template that allows you to understand what it is that you'll need to identify in terms of the tech landscape. What is it that the teams are building? How is it they're building it? And kind of like their workflows and how they build software, right? And the other is a questionnaire to understand the culture, right? Culture is not a binary thing. It's not something like you're not either with or without culture. It's a range of dynamic changes, right? So understanding how your teams operate, how they engage and interact with one another is crucial. So this component is going to help you get a solid understanding of where your organization stands and how your organization operates. Okay. Now, the next product, and if we go to the next slide, we can talk about it, is to assess. Okay. Now, one important aspect to highlight about the components of the value box, the products in the value box, is you can actually use them independently. They're somewhat thought out so that they follow kind of like the traditional sequence that people like Vardana or myself have identified as more effective when going through these processes in the real world. But you don't have to go through them in the right order, and you may even skip some of them if you already have the knowledge. So let's imagine you either used the discovery tooling that we just talked about, or you already had a lot of that information. Then you need to assess, where is it that we are? Like, what is the right starting point? How ready are we in terms of technology, culture? How ready is the organization to actually go through these changes? And how do we set up our processes so that they will help out in achieving these objectives? Okay. Sometimes you also need to identify, do we have the right skill? Like, do we have the right people on board? Do we need to train them? Do we need to get some external insights? This is all part of the assessment tool that you're going to get as part of the value box as a guidance product. Okay. Now, moving to the next slide. At this point, if you look at it kind of like from a logical sequential standpoint, you have a clear understanding of your landscape. You have a clear understanding of where you are and where you should start. And now it's time to make decisions, right? Where to put your investment, how to create your budget, how to pick the right technologies and establish the right governance frameworks, right? We're going to give you a decision tree as a component of the value box as a guidance product that is going to give you a kind of deterministic way to ease the process, right? So that you can use the knowledge and data that you've gathered to this point and find the more effective, more applicable answers to the questions that you will likely have based on dozens, if not hundreds, of both like real world scenarios that myself, Gavardana, and the other dozen of subject matter experts that were interviewed throughout the development of this product will bring. And this is going to help you kind of like accelerate your getting to the right answer given the data that you've acquired over time, right? Now, if we look to the next slide, now you've made a lot of decisions. Now you know where to start. You know how to move forward, right? But there's going to be a real impact as to how you as a leader develop initiating or leading a platform engineering effort, or you as a leader trying to sponsor such an initiative will actually have to engage others and understand how the initiative is going to take form, how it's going to move forward, right? So we're going to give you a guidance product that allows you to execute a leadership workshop. And this is a workshop that is going to help you educate, guide, and align. And the key word here is alignment, right? You really want to position yourself in a place where the platform engineering initiative is aligning the interests and perspectives of people across the organization, from the C-suite to the individual contributor, right? So this workshop is going to help you instill a user-centric, product-oriented view into your platform engineering team, is going to help you understand and align with the C-suite and the business objectives that they're proposing, right? And it's going to help you align and contribute and collaborate with all the different subject matter experts across the organization that are going to be critical, that are going to be pivotal to whether you actually succeed in this initiative or not. So this product gives you all the tooling and guidance and materials that you will need to execute this workshop to promote the success of your platform engineering effort, okay? And then on the next slide, we'll talk about the fifth and final component of this value box, which is a guidance paper, okay? There's a lot more depth, there's a lot more nuance to actually deploying a platform engineering initiative, right? What are we going to use to define our success? What are indicators that we're going to track? How do we calculate and demonstrate that the return on the investment that we've requested is actually materializing, right? And how do we do this over time? What is the best way to demonstrate, and what do we set as milestones for the next quarter, the next 2 quarters, the next fiscal year, right? So this guidance paper is going to give you a lot more depth into what it means to track the success and progress of your platform engineering initiative and how to use that data to guide your roadmap over the more immediate future. Okay, so with 5 minutes left on the clock, I'd love to hand it over to Pragya for next steps, and if anybody has any questions, we're more than happy to answer them.
Okay. Thanks, Leonardo. Thank you so much, both Leonardo and Govardhan and Rick, for explaining this product suite so effectively and so passionately. We now know how much thinking, how much effort is going into designing and developing these product suite. And we've also spoken, as Leonardo and Govardhan has said, we have spoken to about more than 15 experts while we are designing and developing these product suite. So as next steps, we have the trainer certification plan from 24th to 26th of June for the certification program. And we are hoping to see a lot of you there. You will be interested in going through this program and taking it further to your learners, to your clients. The program then finally will be, the certification program will be launched on 10th of July, and then we go on to do the facilitator program session for the value box in the 4th week of August, when people start coming back from the summer vacations, and then we'll launch the value box in the 2nd week of September. So those are the next steps to be taken. The first one, as I said, is on a chart, which is train the trainer certification program for the certification program. Okay, any questions? I do see Jan has a question. How does this platform assessment relate to the general DRA, the digital readiness assessment? Can it be part of the general one? Can you use the general one and assess platform readiness? Rick, would you want to take that? The relationship between the platform engineering assessment and the DRA that we have.
Yeah, I think we're in the midst of detailing that assessment, and I think it's a good point to even if it's supposed to be a more zooming in on that platform engineering capability. I think it does make sense to consider building some hooks from the various products that we have, because we have many organizations and our members who leverage the DRA and also our partners to assess overall basically state of the status quo in organizations, and it could well be that some of the platform engineering questions and capabilities that we now focus on in this product suite can be either enriched in that DRA or some link can be built in, so that a more specific platform engineering assessment can be done subsequently in those organizations who are more interested there. So it's don't have a very detailed answer yet, but in terms of positioning, we will make it clear how you can leverage either a combination or some kind of subset of these both assessments.
Thank you. There's another question, that what advice would you give to organizations that are just starting the journey with platform engineering? Govardhan or Leonardo, would you want to take this?
Yes.
Leonardo, you're on mute.
So,
Yeah, the basic points I can think of as prepare the champions with culture, shift mindset, because that's the biggest challenge we see. And also prepare them with the proper training and the expectations so that they can tackle the reality when they deal with. Because dealing with technology is easy, dealing with people is hard. Many organizations been fighting for tickets. So that's my 2 cents I give. Yep.
and I'll add my 2 cents too. So I think my advice would be, first of all, understand what your customers are doing. Okay, so this is customer-centric mindset. You want to make sure that you really have a solid understanding of how your teams operate. You don't want to force anything on them, right? You want to make sure that you align with how they do things and always focus on ensuring that you are reducing their cognitive load, that you're making things easier for them. So that's step number 1. But that's going to give you a whole bunch of insights. And you really can't expect to boil the ocean. So the next piece of advice is you need to start small. And in our products, we talk about the whole concept of minimum viable product that you likely will have been exposed to in other domains, right? Define a clear scope, and execute that scope. I always like to think about the platform engineering team as like a small startup within the context of a larger enterprise, right? So you want to be iterative, explore, start small, and be flexible, be nimble, be ready to change, and listen to your customers. That's probably my best advice to get started.
Yeah. And I would just add to that this was a very important consideration when Leonardo and Govardhan were designing this entire product suite, that how would you get started? And they really thought about this and included guidance products like the discovery toolkit and the assessment to help people get started. So yes, that can help us. And of course, this training, skill building is very important. Okay, thank you everyone for being part of this, and I hope this was very interesting for you. This product suite. You have any questions, any queries? Please send it to us. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank
Thank you. Yep.